Thank you for joining us on this presentation, and I wanted to extend a big thank you to Thrivent for pairing with MTSU and our MBA program and allowing us to observe your company and also give these recommendations that we are going to present to you today. My name is Ryan, and I'm along here with Kyle, Cole, and Jeff. So Thrivent was founded in 1902 and it was established in the beginning with 500 founding members. It's also turned into a Fortune 500 diversified financial service organization, giving and providing advice in investments, insurance, banking, generosity programs, and they pride themselves in their philanthropy. In 1962 is when Thrivent made the transition from offering health products and life insurance to going into investments. In 2012 is when Thrivent was named one of the world's most ethical companies and has been recognized every year since. In 2013, Thrivent members voted to extend their common bond to help all Christians achieve financial clarity. And now I'll pass this off to Jeff to discuss our discussion of strategy.
Thanks, Ryan. So one thing that we found with Thrivent strategy is that they implement a focused differentiation strategy. Their focus lies in servicing the financial needs of Christians, and they differentiate themselves by integrating faith-based principles into their financial service offerings. Thrivent aims to provide products and services tailored to these values and beliefs, um, and that sets them apart from other general financial institutions. Um, they integrate this differentiation throughout their operations, from product development to customer service. And what that does is that really creates a unique proposition for their members. Um, Now that the strategy has been discussed a little bit, I'll pass it off to Cole to handle our Porter's five forces.
Hey, so for our Porter's Five Forces, I'm going to start out with the intensity of rivalry. And we found that the intensity of rivalry within the financial sector is very high. There's a lot of very competitive firms within it. When you think about indirect or direct competitors, you can think about firms like Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, Northwestern Mutual, Lincoln Financial Group. These are all very similar firms and would compete with Thrivent directly. Moving on to threat of substitutes, we found that the threat of substitutes is moderate. There are some companies out there that exist that could substitute Thrivent in certain ways, but not the entire business model. Um, uh, and now moving into threat of new entries. The threat of new entries should be considered high. And this is because there's new financial investment options that are moving in to, gaining access for the modern person. Things like blockchain technology, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. I think a lot about these new entries as very non-reliable investments currently, but that could change in the future. Um, and that would almost supplement things like long-term investments that you would need an investment firm for, and a certified financial analyst or certified financial advisor for. Now moving into bargaining power of buyers, we found that the bargaining power of buyers was lower, not the lowest it could possibly be, but just lower in general. And this is because the product or service kind of just varies depending on what the buyers are going to need. And then now moving into my last one, I got bargaining power of suppliers. And we found that the Thrivent bargaining power over suppliers is relatively high. And this is because As a financial service provider, its suppliers primarily include technology providers and investment firms and other service providers. And now I'm going to pass this on to our driving forces.
All right. So yeah, when thinking about some of the driving forces out there and across most industries, Cole kind of hit on this. The do-it-yourself investment apps such as Robinhood kind of really speak to our generation, and that's where, as a financial company, you're losing a little bit of, your young professional, do-it-yourself kind of people. They like to have their financials in control, as well as new age things that are advancing the blockchains, the cryptocurrencies, the breadth of those platforms are just ever growing. And then also, I think we've all seen in the past 10 to 15ish years how inflation has made its impact on certain markets, mainly big cities, but then we also see it out in the countryside, especially here in Middle Tennessee. We've seen the rise of the housing market, and that has also really affected people when it comes to spending. And then just for the rise of private market giants is always someone coming in and competitors, these big people such as BlackRock. And then when discussing the key success factors, we think that kind of building with your local community, not only with your charities, but also local sports teams, local venues, sponsorships, kind of get that out there, as well as embracing a more diverse portfolio, such as cryptocurrencies or these markets where we see potential that hasn't been tapped into. I also think that a good success factor is having a friendly user app, one that people really identify with. It's easy for them to operate on. It doesn't seem like a hassle. And then targeting those smaller community events, whether that be with local colleges or your church. And you can even tap into different group homes where you're trying to establish financial stability. And so that will transition us into our SWOT analysis.
Thanks, Ryan. So looking at the SWOT, there's going to be quite a few listed on the screen for each category. We're just going to focus on what we feel like were the more critical items, those being underlined. But starting off with our strengths, Thrivent has a great training and learning programs in place. They've invested significantly in these programs for their employees, which has resulted in a very skilled workforce. Ensuring their employees have every opportunity to grow within the company is crucial for their long-term success. Their customer satisfaction, the company's done a great job of maintaining customer satisfaction for their existing clients, which has helped build their brand awareness for future clients. One of the best marketing components is a referral through an existing client, which just helps ease that initial hesitance that a client may have. Geographical presence in many regions is another benefit that allows them to reach a target market and help with easy accessibility. This type of wide coverage helps Thrivent to relate to those local cultures, which gives it a more personal experience. In their weaknesses, research and development, Thrivent is behind its competition when it comes to innovation. For the amount of money they've spent on research and development, these types of markets require continuous research to ensure that customers' needs are being met with products being offered. Moving on into integrating firms, they've done a great job integrating with smaller firms, but they do struggle when trying to integrate with larger firms, just with the different work cultures that they may encounter. The low marketing budgets, insufficient budgets for marketing or promotion efforts, weakens their ability to grow with customer base. Maintaining a presence with their target audience through marketing efforts could assist with growth. And then the opportunities, market expansion, there's just a lot of room for significant growth to be had in market segments on existing product lines which would create a relatively effective boost to revenue, since not a lot of additional expenses would be needed. And development of new technology, development and new technology for delivery of products or services could drive innovation for Thrivent's operations by providing a quicker way to roll out these new products, and offering a loyalty program could enhance their CRM process by creating retention and loyalty programs to reward repeat customers to help attain higher sales. And then moving into threats, the economy, of course, plays a factor. Poor economic conditions can affect a client's spending habits if they do not have residual income. And an economic downturn, all of us are more focused on meeting direct needs and not really focused on growing our net worth. Skilled labor, a shortage of skilled labor can make it difficult to gain new talent with the right skill sets. And according to a Manpower Group survey, talent shortages have more than tripled in the last decade, which goes back to internal training programs being a very critical factor. And then changing regulations, the introduction of stricter regulations could pose a major threat to Thrivent, since it would make compliance with legal standards more complex and challenging. And with those moving parts, could lead to the last one with lawsuits. So with that, we're going to move on to the next segment.
So some of the things that we found that were Thrivent's strategic concerns were poor economic conditions. We found that the state of the economy has a direct correlation with Thrivent. The economy's poor state could impact their investment portfolios, member contributions, or member retention. It could also increase the demand for Thrivent's financial services by their clients, as financial assistance and programs such as, their insurance claims, financial consulting, things of that nature will likely increase. Another strategic concern that we found was their talent acquisition and development. Attracting and retaining top talent and developing it in the space of financial advisement is paramount in Thrivent providing quality service. Another strategic concern that we found was unforeseen changes in regulations. Navigating these changing regulations could pose significant challenges for Thrivent Financial. Some potential problems that come with regulatory changes include compliance costs, disruptions in daily operations, potential legal risk, and some regulation changes could disrupt the overall alignment with the organization's mission. Another strategic concern that we found was the unwillingness to expand their business model. We believe that Thrivent's core business model could keep them from potentially reaching out, as they do only focus on the Christian demographic. So that is a concern that we have. And lastly, their poor digital experience. Thrivent's poor digital experience for users in today's tech savvy world is just basically unsustainable, and we believe that that is an area that they need to improve and do more research into. But with that being said, that leads us into our recommendations with Cole.
All right. So there's 3 recommendations I want to talk about today. The first one is going to be enhancing data-driven decision making. And what we mean by this is the previous discussions emphasize the importance of self-service analytics and its role in empowering employees to make informed decisions. The company should invest in advanced analytic tools and dashboards that provide real-time insights to operations, customers' behaviors, and market trends. This will allow them to faster and more accurately make decisions on all levels of the organization. And a lot of this will just mainly consist of compiling the data into, say, a dashboard or something. But some implementation methods I want to talk about are right here on this slide. One way they can really enhance their data-driven decision making is to invest in, a lot of analytics tools for data governance and quality. Um, and this would be more like establishing robust data governance practice. That would be more essential to, you know, accomplishing their goal of accuracy, completeness, and reliability for using data-driven decision making. And a third thing they could do to implement this would be training and development. It's crucial to provide ongoing training and development opportunities for employees to enhance their analytical skills. Um, this could include workshops, could include training sessions, meetings. All of the above really would work for the training. And then moving on into our second one, expanding market reach. This is actually our most important recommendation. We felt that the market reach of Thrivent was very low, and none of us had honestly ever heard of the company before we were on this case. And I think that should say something about how well of a marketing job is going on right now at the company. Um, we talked a lot about different ways you could go about it, but I came down to these three implementation methods about how they can market better. And one of them is going to be market research and segmentation. It's critical to conduct comprehensive market research to identify potential new customer segments that align with Thrivent's values and offerings. Obviously, Thrivent is a Lutheran organization, and they believe, in Christian values, probably conservative Christian values, and finding more customers at this level, because the company has gotten so big and successful, is going to take a little bit more market research into the demographics of their current customers. And so they need to think a lot about that and how they're going to find those new customers, if they're going to find them that way, with the customers that they target and align with their values. Now, moving into the second one, this is actually the more of the opposite than the first. Another implementation method for expanding the market reach would be a diversified marketing strategy. And this would go kind of contrary to our first implementation method. And this would be more about developing marketing strategies that resonate with diverse audiences without diluting the core Christian values. This might include digital marketing campaigns, community engagement initiatives, and partnerships with the organization that share similar values but serve broader communities. And what this means more along the lines is, we need to market to the common person, in my opinion. They need to, say, like the Minnesota Twins have a lot of ad space right now, probably a very cheap suite. If Thrivent was to go in there and invest in that, I'm sure that would help get their brand out there. That would make them more brand aware. If they were to do a social media ad campaign, say, getting certified financial advisors talking in there about great investment options, where it's seen as kind of a light to the public and almost like a public service, but without actually really doing anything. You're not legally bound to the advice that you would give on there, so it wouldn't matter anyways. And then moving into the third part of it, it would be product and service diversification. So this would be more of considering new financial products or services that appeal to the broader demographics. This could involve more inclusive investment options, insurance products, or retirement plans that cater to varied financial needs and risk profiles. And that really tops us off for this expanded market reach. And although it's my second one that we've got out here, it is by far the most important, in my opinion, because that was one of the big main problems that we noticed when we were researching this company. Is there's not a lot we could find online. There's not a lot we could find anywhere. We really had to study hard on what the core values of the company are, and the Q&A sessions and such. But Moving into my last recommendation, it's going to be foster organizational agility and innovation. And what this is more about, or possible ways you could go about fostering the organizational agility and innovation, would be regular training and development. Um, you've got to conduct training sessions to enhance data literacy among employees to ensure that they're proficient in new data analytics tools. So obviously, this is something that's very important, especially for CFAs and certified financial advisors. And then performance monitoring, establishing metrics to ensure the effectiveness of new strategic alliances and the impact and innovation initiatives on the company's overall performance. So this would be monitoring the employees and what KPIs that they would have for their specific role at the company. And doing this would increase productivity, increase agility. So you give them a random assignment and you're monitoring very closely, they're going to do a lot more successful and focus a lot more on the assignment at hand. And now the last one is feedback mechanisms. To implement feedback mechanisms continuously, you need to gather insights from employees and partners and help refine strategies and operations further. So this would be, for your customers, really hitting that, post customer support interview hard, asking them for a lot of surveys that they might could take, just getting customer data and feedback for your company on how they can improve their service or their products a lot better. This would keep their customers a long time. This would, have unintended effects in the future. But the main goal would be it would give the company a more innovative approach to dealing with customers and potential new customers in the future. And with that, I think we're going to end the presentation. I really enjoyed talking about Thrivent. They're a very interesting company, and I wish everyone the best on their future endeavors. Thank you.